By the time you
Right.
All right, we're live, buddy. So when you get up there, talk in the microphone. It's like posting on YouTube, and the blue hairs need to hear you.
Grab a chair and pull it right here. We'll have you go up to the fire department. Hi, Hannah.
it goes like
Yeah, how are you? Yeah? Is it official?
no. I'll announce it tonight.
Okay, great. Good. I'm gonna tell my jump again. All right, guys, you ready to start? Yeah? Welcome to the August Sugar House Community Council meeting. Milton, have a seat. Apparently, I jumped the gun on Hannah. She's still our mayor's liaison. Probably not for much longer. All right, a couple things. Let's see. Upcoming transportation safety projects installed spring of 2027. Parkway Avenue. Lynn, do you know anything about these? 4 speed humps will be installed along Parkway Avenue between 1300 East and 1500 East. Simpson Avenue, 3 speed humps will be installed along Simpson Avenue, 700 East and 900 East. And then Ashton Avenue, 1 speed hump will be installed along Ashton Avenue near 800 East. Also like to give out to, we didn't meet in July, so I'd like to give a shout out to the music stroll. Man, it's a good time. Everybody should put it on their calendar. But we have Ainsley here tonight. She runs it and does a remarkable job. You're not talking tonight, don't worry. We'll see you next month. Fire station, want to come on up? Yeah, ready. That's all right. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Only because you're on YouTube.
Oh,
Stand right
perfect.
there.
I'm gonna stand over here
Yeah.
as well. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Scott Baskett. I'm with Station 3 today, so we'll just say we're pleased to be here. Does anybody not know how to get our community newsletters? Okay, very well informed. Good. Obviously, next week, if anybody doesn't know it, school starts back up again.
Wow.
I know, it's quick. See, a week? Well, okay, teachers are in school. Yes, students are next 2 weeks. Thank you, sir. Yes. Teachers are back next week. Yes, I've heard about it many times from my wife. With that, it's imperative to start paying attention, crosswalks, things like that. We have a high school over here. There's the elementary schools as well. Just pay attention. Do this. Is that better?
Like a rock
Sorry.
star.
I'm used to just talking loud, not into a microphone. If you have littles, just remind them, sidewalks, look both ways before stepping off the curb, and then know their address and telephone number. That's very important. That way, if there's an emergency, they can tell us where they belong and how to get a hold of their parents. If you don't have littles, then you have college students or high school students, remind them to be safe, driving to school, keep their head on a swivel, just kind of be aware of their surroundings, is all the things that go on, and to report any problems they see to their administration. Or if it's bad enough, call 911, and then we'll come out and help if it's medical, or PD will come out if it's something else. American Red Cross has a free mobile app to help with emergency preparedness. It's real good to have your teenagers or older kids download that on their phones. And then other than that, if you know any paramedics that are looking for a job, we are hiring for our single role paramedics. It's a pretty good deal. They work 4 days a week. They get a pension, get health care, and overall pretty good wages. And that's on fire.slc.gov, just like everything else referenced to. That's pretty much it. Pretty short. Any questions? Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to be able to get on top of things quick and so they don't get out of hand. Yes, sir.
I was just going to ask if you knew what's causing
As far as I know, it's still under investigation. We have not been told anything.
it. Still approved that yesterday.
Yeah, just making sure nothing flares back up, especially with the high temperatures coming in. Any other questions? Comments? Yes, ma'am.
Black band on your badge?
Oh, sorry. I am out of regulation. This is for our firefighter that died last year.
Oh, very good.
So he was at my station. So it's yeah, it'll come off after his memorial in September. Any other questions? Comments? Okay, short and sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Michael Austin, come on up.
Okay, I'm good. How's everybody doing? I think I've done one of these before, like a couple of years ago when I teach guitar lessons in the back, and I do a lot of like community stuff in the Sugar House area. I host an acoustic jam every Thursday night at Fiddler's. Now that's back open. I'm doing a Bonnie Ball. Does everybody know what Bonnie Ball is? The festival that's here on August 22nd. I've got 3 teenage rock bands that are going to be performing at it. It's going to be from 10 to 2 p.m. One of the owners of this place, well, 2 of the owners who own the Beanhole, their daughter Marley's playing bass in all 3 of them. And I'm also collaborating with a local lady who's a vocal instructor. She's providing me with 3 singers that are all teenagers. And so around 12:30 or so, you'll see a band out on the loading dock on August 22nd, and they'll be playing some classic rock stuff, some 90s alternative like Jack Johnson, Journey, Eagles, that kind of stuff, and it'll be pretty cool. And it's something I kind of did in collaboration with these guys. So it's like a summer band, kind of like rock camp thing that I'll also be doing next year. And I probably teach about 40 to 45 students that live in this neighborhood weekly. And oh hey, and so I'm here because I have this awesome opportunity to record this record in Nashville. And it kind of ended up happening by meeting some local singer-songwriters here. I don't know if you're familiar with like Alicia Stockman, but she's a singer-songwriter in the area that does a lot of events. And yeah, I'm not signed to a record label, and it costs money, so I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign. And so far, I've raised $10,000 since July 10th. I'm not quite close to the goal yet. I need to probably raise like 20 grand more. And if you're familiar with crowdfunding, it's not like a regular donation. It's almost like a pre-order. So like $25 gets you the CD with the music on it, and it goes up from there. I've got people out there, like for $100, you get like a t-shirt, the music, everything else on the lower tiers, plus you get your name worked into the album artwork. And the whole idea behind it, because I have a lot of songwriters. I probably am in contact and communication with at least 50 to 100 different singer-songwriters in the area on a monthly basis from the whole valley. And the open mics that I host, I'm always trying to encourage everybody to, keep coming out, get your music out there, record an album, that kind of thing. And some of the songwriters that I've become friends with and have at my events have gone on to like KRCL radio shows and actually gone out and recorded music. Like, God, there's so many but Michael Feldman's like you guys know Michael Feldman in the area. So he's a big supporter locally of it, and he comes to all my events all the time. So anyway, I don't know why I got nervous all of a sudden, but so it feels weird to me because I'm like addicted to helping people, and I'd rather like not pay attention to the stuff I'm doing and help everybody else instead. So this is like the first time I'm asking for people to help me out with this, and so if you're interested, it's behind me, and I'm just trying to show a lot of the local musicians that you can level up. I grew up in a household where for whatever reason, this sometimes happens, my parents were like, when they asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up, and I said a musician, they were like, no, and you're gonna die a horrible death in a plane crash, or you're gonna overdose on drugs, and I don't even do drugs. So So it's like, so anyway, so and then I surprised them when they found out I was making like, full-time wages and could pay house payments with teaching guitar lessons and playing gigs and stuff. So I'm just trying to show all the local musicians that want to do something similar that they can do it and lead by example. So any kind of support you can give me, there's a link, you can watch the video. It goes into detail what I'm doing. And, and if for some reason you can't do it financially, sharing it with others helps me too. And I would really appreciate it. So. Thank you.
All right, Colin, you ready? Come on up. What, Senate District 13?
13.
Okay, so this is Colin. He's running for Senate, Nate Bluen's old seat.
Yes. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Colin Smith. I am running for Utah State Senate in District 13, which is just on the other side, the west side of 1300 East. My platform is number one, save Great Salt Lake. If we have no lake, we have no city, right? Number two is we need to increase affordability for all Utahns. And number three is the way we're going to save Great Salt Lake is by changing what we grow and growing more food for humans rather than food for food, and supporting kids that are facing childhood hunger, right? Those are my big three issues. Also, I'm running with the Forward Party, so I'll be running against both a Republican and a Democrat next year. My focus with running with Forward is we need to turn down the temperature on politics, right? I love the phrase, let's make politics boring again, right? Let's get back to like common sense issues for common sense people, because most of us are here in the middle, right? Why am I qualified to be a state senator, right? I've had a career in the mental health space, which is a career in leadership. The folks that I've gotten to work with over the last 15 years aren't interested in like living, let alone putting on a backpack and wandering out into the desert, certainly not making fire with sticks. But what I can do and what I'm going to take with me to the state house is that ability to build relationships, right? I'm not interested in caucusing with any particular person or party because I want to caucus with everyone, right? I want to work with everyone to find real solutions that are helpful for Utahns. Also, whenever I do a campaign event, I combine it with either a food or a clothing drive for Granite School District. 40% of kids in Granite School District are qualify for free and reduced school lunch. So on Labor Day at Fairmount Park, we're going to be doing a hoodie drive, right? Children's hoodies, they got to be new. There'll be information on my website, and you can find out more over there. Thank you so much for your time and letting me speak in front of you all. Thank you, Landon, for setting this up, and thank you, Sarah, for telling me about it. Awesome.
Thank you. All right, let's hear from Salt Lake City Pursuit Community Education. Heather and Teresa. That's all right. Where's Derek? We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. You gotta hold it like this. Okay. Thank you.
Am I holding it right? You guys hear me?
Closer.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heather Santos, and closer. Can you? Okay, now you can hear me. Okay. I'm Heather Santos, and I'm here with my co-founder, Teresa, who's in the back donating her computer so we can have some visuals. But we're here to tell you about a nonprofit we recently founded called Pursuit Co. How many of you guys are aware of community education? Lots of hands. Okay, so community education was a program that was run through the school district for 54 years. And unfortunately, this past spring, it had to be cut because, like all our organizations, we're all facing budget cuts, and that was one of the programs that lost due to that. So Teresa and I were students of the program at the time when we heard the news about it being cut, and just felt like this would be such a loss for our community to not have these community education programs in our lives anymore. So we started to just investigate if this could be something that we could take on and run independently as a nonprofit. And as we started to ask questions and interview people and talk to our classmates and instructors in the program to kind of get a feel for what it was, we kept hearing the same story over and over, which was these instructors had been with the program for years, decades, multiple decades, and so had the students, and the students were following the instructors, and the classes were these cohorts that were hanging together as a community. And it just felt so tragic after we kept hearing that story over and over again. For example, the woman who teaches watercolor has taught with Community Ed for 22 years. She has students who have been in her class for 10 years or more. And that's their Monday night, right? Monday night is their night to get together with friends and paint. And that's, they make space in their life to do that. And then they have what we've termed a pursuit. And we believe that having a pursuit in your life just makes life richer. So we learned that all these people through community education had found their pursuit through the community education program, and so had the instructors. And there was just so much joy and community in that program. So we decided that we couldn't let it die and we wanted to take it on. So when the program ended, there was huge disappointment. It got tons of news coverage, local news coverage. And so that's kind of what everyone has in their mind, right? That the program's over. What a lot of people don't know is that we've now stood up this nonprofit to take it on, and these classes are available again. So Teresa and I have been working our butts off, candidly, since the program ended in just spring. So since about June until now, we've been basically have become full-time entrepreneurs on top of our full-time day jobs to try to stand this up and learn everything you need to learn to run a business. Many of the instructors are coming back to teach with us. So many of these classes are repeat classes that our community has known and loved for years. We've also brought on a nice number of new interesting classes like beekeeping and fused glass, art, what else? Art journaling, acrylic painting. Those are some of our new ones. So we're really focused right now on getting the word out. It was important to us that we were able to launch in the fall because that's the next session the community education program would have been made available. So we didn't want to lose any of that continuity. So now, like I said, we're focused on getting the word out and letting the community know, hey, Community Ed is not dead. It's back under Pursuit Co. And we want you to know these classes are available. And we want you to sign up because it's really important that we keep this program alive. And the only way to do that is if it's sustainable. And that means that we get enough students into the classes to pay our instructors and pay what it costs to rent the facilities and take on a lot of other overhead costs that we've taken on to run the program. It is our mission to keep the classes affordable and attainable, just like Community Ed did. We've had to raise the cost just a little bit, like I said, to take on the new prices that the program has to cover. But it is our mission to make sure these classes are basically priced at 50 to 70% of what you'd find out in the market. So it's really important to us that it's accessible and we continue the tradition of community education and the community, like I said, that forms around having something that you love to do just because it lights you up, and doing that alongside people in your community. So I'm going to hand it over to Teresa and see what else I missed.
I wasn't listening because I was doing this, but I will take questions if anyone has questions. Yeah. Yeah, so the original community education program had classes at all three Salt Lake City High Schools, West, East, and Highland. Oh, can you hear me now? Sorry. Okay. In order to get our feet under us and make sure we can run them, we're trying to do as many as we can in fall at East because it's the middle high school. But we would love to, if we get a lot of engagement, it's important to us that we could one day have representation across the valley. So that means bringing it back to West and Highland. We have a couple classes at Highland. We have one class at West, but most of them will be at East High School for fall. Yeah, we have so we have art classes like watercolor, acrylic, glass fusing. We have craft classes like knitting and crochet. We have silversmithing now, which is exciting. We have yoga, Pilates, Zumba, ballroom dance, mandolin, guitar, banjo. We have some really fun ones like beekeeping and tarot. And we just added a astrology class. So just a whole variety of things that just really talented, smart people in our community have all of these really cool interests that they want to share.
I took a welding class. It was I'll just talk really loud. Oh, online. Can you hear? Like, oh yeah. I took a couple of welding classes over here at Highland, and they were great. And then I was going to do some language classes, and then it went away. So as a community, how could we get the word out? I had no idea that I could still do some language classes. What can we do?
Yeah, there's definitely language classes. I didn't say we have ASL, American Sign Language. We have Swedish, Italian, Spanish, Russian. Yes, the Russian teacher is amazing. We would love help getting the word out. We're trying to contact as many news organizations as we can, do things like this, get on newsletters. We do have social media. And so anyone who is on social media who would be willing to share what we're doing on social media, you can just search for us under SLC Pursuit Co. And if you can share that to your following, that would be amazing. I have flyers. If you have a place that, a coffee shop near you or somewhere that has flyers, we're trying to put flyers everywhere. Just anything that we can do to get the word out, we would appreciate anything. If you can connect us to anyone who has an audience that would be willing to share about that, whether it's a newsletter, social media, we would love any help like that we could get.
Send your whatever to all the people on our newsletter.
That would be incredible. Yeah, newsletters are so helpful. Any other questions?
Are the schools helping you to get the word out?
The schools are letting us rent their rooms, which is incredibly helpful, and they give us a nonprofit rate, so it's half the price we would pay as a for-profit. They can't treat us any differently than any other nonprofit, so there's not any additional partnership other than that, but like using the rooms is very foundational for us. So we've been really grateful that we've gotten permission to use like dance studios and classrooms, and we could not do it without the facilities. And we've met like some incredibly kind and supportive people at the schools. Like the custodians at the schools are all incredible. We've met some of the principals. Like they've been great. Yeah, but the Highland principal is the worst. No, that's not true. All of the principals have been very supportive, and we appreciate it.
Oh, another question. Yep.
It's not a question, but I hope you're aware that we have a radio station, and they likely will do an interview or two for you. Correct? Right?
We would love that. We're getting press ready. We're actually going to be on the news on Friday on Fresh Living, if anyone watches. Yeah, so we are, like I said, having to acquire all kinds of skills. So we're acquiring PR skills, social media skills. We're like very awkwardly building a social media Instagram. I'm begging my daughter who's 16 to help me, but it's not cool enough to get her help. So September 14th, the week of September 14th. And the session is about 8 weeks long. Some classes are already at capacity. So if you're interested, check it out and claim your spot. I was just gonna share that Teresa and I, like I mentioned, we were students of the program when we got the news, and we've been friends for a number of years, and we've kind of tried different things as friends in terms of how to spend time together. And one of the things we did was take walks around Sugar House Park, and one of the things we dreamt about on those walks was taking watercolor classes, and we would talk about it and kind of say one day this, that, and the other. We finally got around to signing up for watercolor, and that became a way that we spent time together as friends. And it was really great because we had this thing on our calendar that was on Monday evenings. We knew we would meet up there, do something creative, sit next to each other and chit chat. And I'm sharing that with you because we think that these classes are just a really cool time to grab someone you need to spend more time with. And maybe it's hard to always figure out what you want to do, whether it's a date with your partner or a friend you want to see more often. And then you just have something plugged in on your calendar and it's something fun that you do together. And for 8 weeks, you can depend on that, right? Or we're going to do belly dancing together, or we're going to do our art journals, or, whatever it is. It's just kind of a different way to spend time with someone. And to be honest, it's cheaper than a night out to dinner and drinks, right? Like these classes are anywhere between $70 and $120 for 8 weeks. A dinner and drinks is that much money. So we just wanted to put that in your head that it's just a really nice it's a really nice way to find time to spend time with a friend. Question.
Hi. So do you have gift certificates? Because this is like you were just saying, it's an experience that you're buying. You're not buying something in a bottle or a box, So gift certificates?
We do. We have gift cards. Right there. Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, we haven't sold any gift cards yet. That hasn't been our focus, but we agree. We think it could be a really fun concept, especially around the holidays, to buy a class for a friend, a family member, and say, hey, I don't know what would be up your alley, but I think it'd be really fun for you to choose something and sign up for this and, chase a hobby, learn a new skill, something like that. So yeah, thank you for teeing that up.
Could you put the website back up, please?
Yeah, this is the website. So sorry that it's so small. It's slcpursuit.com.
And then Teresa's in the registration area right now. So if you go to the homepage, it looks like this. And then you would click here to check out the catalog. If you're interested in teaching, you could submit your information there and just tell us about what your passion is and what a class would look like. Sorry. We've gotten so many people interested in teaching. It's been so fun. So many people with such interesting talents that they want to share with the community. So we were mentioning how many new classes we've added, but just like yesterday, Teresa got someone reaching out to do a printmaking class. Like she said, we just added a Halloween meditation class. So it's changing and getting updated almost daily. So check out the catalog, and if there's not something that sparks your fancy today, check back next week, and it's good. We're gonna have new stuff.
I was going to say, you guys, this is great. Get the word out. You may want to get with other community council, here in the city, and get on those newsletters.
Yeah, we actually sent it to several community councils and only heard back from a couple. So we really appreciate the chance to talk here.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Well done. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Detective Swift.
I don't have any slides or anything, but yeah, so the kind of the usual, the numbers this summer overall are looking very good. Most of the activity is way down. The kind of two main points we're kind of hit briefly on tonight. We have had an uptick in activity on the Parley's Trail, the S line, that 500 east to 700 east. That's come up as an issue. That's getting a lot of attention. We have stepped up patrols there. There's been some lighting recently fixed. That's a continuing project. One of the other things we're looking at is trimming back those willow trees that provide a lot of cover for the transients along there. That's still in progress because apparently nobody knows who owns those willow trees at city or county. So we're getting that figured out. That's part of the reason I think they're really big and overhung, and I think that's why everyone's pointing at each other like, aren't these yours? And it's like, yeah. So, but we are working on that. We're getting it figured out. And then, of course, you will be seeing a lot of presence at Liberty Park because we did have the shooting there. And I don't know what rumors are going around about that. It wasn't related to drug dealing or anything like that. It was a very, very dumb interpersonal dispute that escalated unnecessarily. So it's not part of an, upcoming pattern or anything we've seen an uptick in. You will see increased presence to make sure we're keeping a lid on that place and continue the progress there. But I don't want any stories going around about how all of a sudden we're at risk of something like that again. It was very, very random, very unnecessary, and again, not related to any kind of other patterns we've been seeing. Our overall patterns are looking very good in the neighborhoods and at the park. There are some hot spots we're continuing to focus on, but yeah, overall things are doing very well. Again, I'll kind of open it up. Is there anything you guys would like to see more attention on lately, or?
Yeah, so the transient RVs that you see parked, the transient RVs you see parked, especially along Elizabeth, the same ones. You keep seeing them over and over again. And then inevitably the drug trafficking, they go out on bicycles and their little car that's covered in, looks like bubble gum.
Yeah, so a good way to get those on the radar is the SLC app. That My SLC app, you can put those in for I think there's a transient activity one, and there's also the RV parking. The RV parking, one of the barriers we have right now that they're looking at updating the camping ordinance because of this. As it currently stands, they can park and store those things for 48 hours. Thing is, if they know those, a lot of them know those rules now. If they move it at all, it resets that 48-hour clock, and that's why you see the same ones. And they'll be like, "Hey, it was a block over for a couple days, and it's back here." They're kind of they know the drill to kind of circumvent that at this point, and so that is an ongoing thing. And the city council is actively looking at updating the ordinance that we can maybe a little more aggressively do the car camping thing. Else? All right, I'll hand it back off to anything you guys need.
Okay, where's Jerry? Jerry. Hey, Yvonne, will you hand Jerry a mic right here? He just has something for a second.
Thank you for letting me speak on this. Circuit breaker, that's a phrase you should become aware of. I just want to let you know, last couple of years I've been up at the legislature dealing with the circuit breaker property tax relief for low-income seniors. And Dan McKay's tried to destroy the program the last 2 years. First year, we got the governor to veto his bill. Last year, the House of Representatives took care of him. So, this year, the voters in Riverton took care of him because he lost his primary. So we're hoping that he's not going to be there next year to try and destroy this program. But the reason I wanted to mention all this is because the deadline for property tax relief for low-income seniors is Labor Day. It's coming up in just a few weeks. And if you're in Salt Lake area, you have to go to the county offices, the Salt Lake County Treasurer's Office, get on their website at Salt Lake County or slco.org, I believe. Go to the Treasurer's Office and you can find out more about property tax relief. Basically, if you're 66 and older, your household income is less than $44,221, and or if you're an unmarried widow or widower, you can also get help that way. There's also a renter program that will be running until December 31st, and I'll have a new video out on that on how to fill out the forms very soon. I was working on it in the last few days actually to prep for recording that. But if you want to go up to Utah Circuit Breaker, you can see a bunch of videos and things that we've done in the past. But basically, the reason I wanted to mention this tonight is because the deadline is in less than 4 weeks, and it's a very helpful program to people. And with Salt Lake City and Salt Lake County both raising their property taxes this year, it's going to be more important than ever to get people some help. And Sarah, if you would please help out with the city and make sure this program is not attacked like it has been before. Right, yeah, but the Utah Association of Counties really went after it last year, and our local representatives got some conflicting information and stuff like that. So anything that anybody can do through Utah League of Cities and Towns or through Utah Association of Counties would be very helpful. So get those applications in by September 1st if you know a senior who could use the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Bill, I bet you have to get home. You ready? Come on. I mean, it's like you have to beg him to come up. Oh, every time. Every time. Are the lamplighter guys here? Come on up. We're going to add one to your construction.
All right. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I will try to run through this and highlight
hopefully I know. Always a critic. I know. Okay, here we go. Let's try this. Good news. We actually have one project completed. Yay. And it's only 2 years and 2 months behind schedule. So they actually beat the record of the guys across the street. And so we have a new record. But anyway, Monterre is open for business. And if you happen to be a student, preferably, I guess, an athlete, and yeah, I think that's where, yeah. Anyway, you can move in there because it's open for business and they're taking residents in the next 2 weeks. And that will be over, and all of the stuff that goes with it. I won't go into all of that. But we now have a project also right next door to it, the Irma Fairmont project, an exciting project for people that I happen to know, for senior citizen affordable housing. And it's going to be a great project. But what I had to report is after, I don't know how many months, 2 or 3 or 4 months, we've actually negotiated a parking agreement to get those people parked down the street, out of the area of the parking and dog park parking. And so contrary to what we experienced with Monterre, these people will have a place to go. And that was, it took a while, and it's a nice deal. So a lot of people worked on that. Maybe you did too, huh? I think so. Anyway, 10th and Elm, we also had some parking deals resolved there. I don't see Mark Isaac in the room here, but I got to give him some props on this. They worked a deal out with the Boyer Company to lease the Midas property, the old Midas muffler shop over there. And they're going to park all their people and do some staging over on that site and not in the neighborhood and not in front of residences and businesses. Yay! Yeah, that was, we had another call on that relative to some dust situations here. Give me a break. Anyway, they have been responding well. So I got to give them their props also. Big D Construction. They've been watering down the site after we got some reports of serious dust issues in the neighborhood there. Quickly now, moving to the S-Line project. Anybody notice that? I'm just wondering. Okay, but anyway, we've been working closely, of course, with the owners of the Sugar House Center, the Olson family, and the businesses that front both sides of that construction that's going on in the parking lot. And so far, and any wood here to knock on would be good, but so far, we're keeping things under control. The businesses are okay with what and how the parking has been handled at this point, and access to those businesses. It's an exciting project for us, a lot of you know, and we want to do it right. And right now, we're in a good place. We hope keeping the contractor going the right direction. Beginning next month, about the second week in September, the DI building will actually be going down after 17 and a half years. I lost track. So what a long time that it's been going down, but it's going down now in September as part of this project, and it will soon be on the market as to an RFP, I guess. Yeah. And we'll see what happens with that. But the good news is that is a further extension of the completion of this project, which as of just yesterday, they are still saying that it will be completed, the heavy construction will be completed before the end of this year. There is still a lot of discussion on crossing Highland Drive in the canal that has yet to be worked out. That is one of the toughest aspects of that project. But from the standpoint of street access, business access, everything else has been moving as to plan. And so we'll cross our fingers and hope that keeps going. And again, it will be largely completed by the end of this year, followed by the infrastructure, the electrical, all that kind of stuff, opening about, well, actually July of next year. We have some curiosity still on the Zions Bank project. That is going to be a project, and they're currently still working out some negotiating with, I guess you'd say, the city on the height variance that they are looking for. It's about a 3-story difference in what is actually allowed and what they would like to see. And the city's asking for accommodations for that, and that negotiation continues to go on. Planning Commission coming up on August 12th. All right. So, and she knows. So this project is live. It's going to happen. We've also had assurances and pictures, renderings, if you will, that the Parley's Trail will be accommodated through there. It will not be impacted. We are making sure that continues to be the case through construction. We know at the end of the project, it will be accommodated and actually an asset to the project as it passes so closely by. On the horizon, we've got Wells Fargo. Anybody know anything? Did I hear a yes? Oh, there's Mark Isaac. Well, I'm saying that we keep hearing there's going to be a new iteration coming to the table, and that will not require variance and will not require any changes, but we haven't seen it yet. So it's coming, but not here yet. We have the Snell Grove property is still in again, design review and back and forth with not a lot of resolution there yet either. Midas Muffler, if you've noticed, and I'll again point to our friend Mark here, the project site itself has been upgraded a little bit. You'll see some work that's happened there on the building with improved doors, actually for security, as to the parking and some of the staging they're going to be accommodating for the 10th and Elm project. Other than that, nothing yet, but expected to be soon next year. That'll be coming at us as a new project. Let's see, one more thing. Oh, I wanted to mention the liquor store. Anybody noticed or read anything about the liquor store? A lot of, everybody. So, but the state bought the property and the state, okay, I'm not here advocating it. But what I can say is the state owns it, they bought it, and now we are kind of watching to see. I will have to add, though, an interesting point. There's been a bar sharing the parking lot with the Fellowship Hall for about 25 years. It's currently closed and under litigation and may reopen here soon. It's to be, but there's been a bar there for a long time. So that particular aspect of this situation might be something that is not going to get a lot of traction. But wait a minute. I have an editorial. And that is to say, your next presenters, perhaps. I want to say that we went through some times some year ago with the city and the legislature discussing our transportation situation. And I want to say that the administration and UDOT administration were very closely aligned, and more importantly, and most importantly, down the line, a few people that were working on the streets, if you will, on that negotiation and collaboration made the biggest darn difference I've ever seen. Sitting through this thing for about 10 months, and the people you're about to hear from should get a big round of applause for that. There you go. I'm done.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you. All right, first we're going to hear from the Lamplighter Square. Come on up, guys. Oh yeah, go ahead. No questions.
I don't know if you mentioned it already, but
the property behind where the state just bought, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago that there was going to be a 16, or I think it was 16 townhouses that they were building. Do we have an update on that and when that's going to happen?
Don't have an update except that the plan's moving forward. And I don't have any construction timelines or even a contractor contact, except that the design has been approved and that it is moving forward.
And then entrance into all of those places, the liquor store, the townhouses. I mean, we are the fellowship hall, so I mean, we do have all that prop. How are people going to be entering into all of that?
Good question. Yeah, really good questions. And it's not unlike a lot of other situations we're dealing with in terms of the density and increased population. I think we will, but it is a good question. And I think that has to be discussed. As I said, we don't have a contractor yet for the liquor store. I don't have a contractor yet for the townhomes. And all of that stuff adds up to when we do get, and some of the folks here in the city will know, we do get together and talk. And we have these kind of things to address and work out. So I will tell you that we will know that that's an issue to be talking about, and we'll work on it. All right?
Thank you. Thank you. Come on up, guys. Thank you, Bill. I know this is a little out of Sugar House, but it is our neighbor, so they're here to present what hopefully the plan is at Lamplighter Square. Want to introduce you guys?
Yeah, good evening. Thank you guys for having us. So my name is Tomas Noriega, and I'm with Montera, a small development and renovation firm in Salt Lake City. And this is John Galbraith, our architect partner with Element, your principal at Element Design Collective. So we're here to talk to you a little bit about Lamplighter, which is a project that we're in the process of purchasing and have some plans for. And we'd love to hear your questions and hopefully get your support. So where we'd like to start is basically kind of a highlight of what we're trying to do. So the overall size of the project of the land is about 1.4 acres. It's at the intersection of Foothill and 17 South. What we are planning for the site is something that we think is very appropriate from a density standpoint and aligns with the surrounding uses. So basically with 19 townhomes, 5 of which would be for sale and 14 of which would be for rent. And a 14,000 square foot commercial building that we anticipate will have a restaurant, some retail, and some office as well, perhaps medical office. So if you're familiar with this area, this is currently what the site looks like. So pretty bare bones, and there's nothing there, and we're hoping to change that. Yes, yeah, it's behind the car wash, and we're hoping to change that for the better. So this is a highlight of what we were envisioning for the site. So basically you have 14 townhomes here. These would be for rent, and these 5 townhomes would be for sale. We intentionally placed the commercial building farthest from the surrounding single family homes to minimize any disruption or to their day-to-day. And what we've heard a lot from the community is that they used to love the fact that there was like a Taqueria 27 there and some other retail uses. And we're hoping to bring that back by focusing on small businesses. There's already plenty of big retailers at Foothill Village, and that's a goal we're trying to accomplish. We think it'd be awesome to have a restaurant there. That's essentially a 3-story building. Overall, the one part that we want to highlight as well is, if you remember, there used to be the Skyline Inn Motel or hotel, I don't know exactly, and an apartment building there. And oftentimes I haven't done a lot of these. This is my second one. And I've noticed that people tend to sometimes get very resistant to some change and density. But the one thing we'll point out that I think is very important to remember is we're actually bringing down density in this site, because there used to be between the hotel and the motel about 38 units. Our proposed plan would be for 19 with a more kind of family oriented style. And that's kind of the overall gist of it.
Yeah, I'll kind of go over kind of the general design approach, what we've been doing. Like Thomas mentioned, we want to do smart development, smart design, have it fit within the area in the neighborhood. As you can see, the for sale approach is the 5 that are closest to the existing single family homes. So there's a nice buffer. There's home ownership. people that want to stake a claim in the community and really be less transient than the for rent townhomes to the farther to the west. And something else you'll see that a couple things to note is that then we have all of the for rent townhomes that are running there on the south end of the site that butt up against 17 South. We did that kind of intentionally because a lot of feedback we hear is that there's 17 South can kind of be bogged down by traffic. So we didn't want to do heavy use with the commercial. And so we wanted to push that up there. So what we're going to do is we don't really have power over access to 17 South, but we're going to have signage that essentially says that entrance is kind of for residents only. It's kind of a self-governed. We can't really promise that. And then also up towards the top, we'll have a sign that access is for emergency and residents only, so that people that come to the commercial building will use all of that parking, which we're over parking. We're providing more than the zoning minimum because, I know that we're trying to reduce cars, but at the same time, we don't want to cause issues for the existing neighborhood. And so we're trying to just push everyone to use ingress, egress on the commercial side on Foothill. Something else just to note that, this is a beautiful area. And so with these, we want to try to heighten the experience for these tenants and homeowners. So these are all, we're planning on rooftop decks that they can, enjoy Mount Olympus and the Wasatch. And then they all have 2-car garages. So where density kind of gets ugly sometimes, especially in multifamily, is the immediately area and the adjacent streets are cluttered with cars. I'm sure you guys see that all the time. So this, having a 2-car garage attached to every unit, we're trying to mitigate that so that, even though, it's a lot of people don't like when I say this, but it's Utah and we all have cars, and we have cars because we like to go up in the mountains. So I'm just going to come out and say it. But now we at least are planning and anticipating that and providing enclosed garages so that at least they're hidden when they're not being used. And so that's kind of, you can see with these different aerials, you can kind of see how it kind of works. We're trying to work with the grade so that as the roof decks face eastward, so that the buildings kind of subtly step up away from the single family. And if you're familiar with the area, there's quite a bit of grade. So as the buildings cascade down the hill, they actually end up being not very much taller than those existing single family homes. So we're just trying to be very respectful, yet improve the area and provide something that can benefit everyone. So that's kind of it. I think we'll open it up to questions to anyone.
Do you guys have an idea of how much the units will rent for and or sell for?
We're still kind of doing a lot of that research, but we anticipate the units, the townhome units, the for rent ones, they would kind of vary, but it would be high 2000s, maybe low 3000s, which sadly tends to be somewhat competitive given how expensive homes and mortgage rates are, and compared to the cost of ownership to date. And the for sale one, we're really still trying to nail that down, but we think high 9s, maybe low 1 millions. And part of that really is there's a variety of factors, but one, I think the confluence of where costs tend to live these days and interest rates, as well as trying to do a product type that is compatible for the area, right? And nice enough according to the surrounding homes. Yes.
I don't want to pick on you guys specifically, because you're still doing plans and stuff. But one of the things that gets to me sometimes is when we have these multi-unit housing facilities and they come to pick up the garbage and they're not waiting until 7 o'clock because they're within 300 feet of the residential area, supposed to wait till after 7. And we've got businesses all over the city where these things are getting picked up and making a bunch of noise 6 o'clock in the morning and all. And I just think that that's something that people need to pay attention to when you're building things like this, because you're talking a lot about respect for the surrounding neighborhood.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely make sure that this is not a problem here to the best of our ability. Any other questions? Oh, yeah.
So the home to the south no, let me see here. The home to the east,
Yeah.
that one up 17th there. If you look at the top pitch of that home, how does that compare going straight out from your easternmost building, the for sale units?
So just to clarify, are you talking about these relative to this home?
Yes.
It's only a few feet taller, and we've actually talked to Mr. and Mrs. Krim, and they've been extremely supportive.
That's great.
Which,
That's great news.
Yeah, we wanted to approach them. Obviously, they're the ones that get the most affected by this, right? Just because all of the homes behind the development to this side, they're sitting quite a bit higher. So it really won't impact them a lot, but this specific home, we knew that it would be a very big difference for them. And I actually met with him and his wife this Saturday, and they were keen to be supportive, which we really appreciate. Yeah. Well, there was a shooting in that house, so I think they're happy about the fact that it won't be that anymore. And yeah, we're genuinely trying to do something nice for the neighborhood. So, yes.
What's the size of units, those rental and down?
Yeah, so we're thinking 3 to 4 bedrooms because we want to incentivize kind of family-oriented housing, right? And it would be in the low 2,000s to mid 2,000 square feet, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
So I'm Megan Booth. I'm the principal planner with Salt Lake Planning Division. So this is my project. So I'm here tonight just to talk a little bit about the process. So right now they're running 2 rezone applications concurrently. We posted the site and sent out the public notices, and we're here doing the engagement. This is an approval process that goes through the city council, as many of you are probably aware. So the next step would be planning commission for recommendation and then city council. They are exploring looking at zoning incentives, possible design review. That would just kind of depend on how the rezone goes and where we go from there. But yeah, just wanted to introduce myself that I'm the planner assigned to the project.
And just one thing, and thank you, Megan. One thing I'll add to that, just so that no one has a fear that we're doing this for different reasons, is this site is already split between 2 zones called MU2 and MU3, and our goal is just to consolidate it into MU3. So it's not to step into something that's substantially higher or try to put a massive apartment building like they tried, I think, a few years ago. So just to clarify that. Yeah, thank you guys for your time. Really appreciate it.
All right, Len, you ready? Come on up. So we have Lisa Zundel from UDOT, our beloved Lynn Jacobs from Salt Lake City Transportation. They're here to talk about the Senate bill.
Thank you. So as I said, I'm Lisa Zundel. I am the Deputy Director for UDOT Region 2. UDOT Region 2 covers Tooele, Salt Lake, and Summit counties, so right here in the heart of the state. And then I'll let Lynn introduce himself, and I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing.
So Lynn Jacobs, Salt Lake City Transportation. Many of you know me, so I'm happy to be back here again tonight. And happy to be here with Lisa. I've known her for a long time. We have great partnerships with UDOT.
Thanks, Lynn. So as many of you are aware, there was some legislation in the 2025 legislative session that had to do with Salt Lake City streets. That legislation required UDOT and the city to work together on a study that looked at Salt Lake City streets and how they're functioning and what some of the projects that Salt Lake City have done for the streets. We did that study. We found that while the projects had a neutral impact, it's unknown how those projects are going to affect future volumes. In the 2026 legislative session, there was some additional legislation passed that asked UDOT and the city to work together to come up with a plan for the streets in Salt Lake City, including a tiered map that puts roads into tiers 1, 2, and 3. Tier 1 are roads that the capacity of those roadways should be protected while still considering safety improvements. Tier 2 roads are roads that improvements can be made to, but before those improvements can be made, some study and an analysis and engagement needs to be done to see what the impacts of those improvements would be and if they're appropriate. Tier 3 roads, excuse me, let me back up. Tier 2 roads have some approval authority through UDOT for the city. And then tier 3 roads has to have some similar study and analysis done and public engagement, but UDOT does not have any involvement with the tier 3 roads. And then tier 4 roads are your neighborhood streets that the city is welcome to do what they wish to do on those roadways. In addition to that, the city and UDOT are working on an agreement right now to define what that study and analysis and engagement looks like for the tier 2 and tier 3 streets, and how that will all work together. And I will say throughout this whole process, the collaboration between UDOT and the city and the conversations that have been had have been very productive and very welcome to moving things forward and making a situation that can be beneficial to all the users of the roadways. Do you want to add anything?
No, just how great UDOT's been in this partnership. I think nobody really wanted to have to do all this extra work, but here we are, up closer, and it's just great to work with UDOT. They've been fantastic partners. We're working hard on negotiating all of this. I think a lot of people ask me, what tier is my road? And we're really close to defining what that is, but we're not quite there yet. So hopefully sometime in the next couple of months, we'll be going through a public process to release that to everyone so that you can see what roads or what tiers in the city. Things we're negotiating, that's one. What the process looks like for approval, that's another thing we're working on really hard. And then there's a few, the state also mandated that we look at a few of the projects we recently completed and look for if we've created impacts, if we could mitigate those impacts. And so we're working together to figure all that out right now. Timeline, we're required by the state to have this done by the end of the year. I think we have to have an agreement between UDOT and the city by January 1st. So we are working hard to get this done. Great partnership. We're happy to work with them. Any questions? Probably. That's probably where. Oh, Lisa's got another.
Before we go to questions, I do want to introduce Grant Farnsworth and Greg Sanchez. If you want to raise your hands, they're in the back, standing there in the back. Grant is the traffic operations engineer at UDOT, and Greg is the east side traffic engineer at UDOT. And they are the ones that specifically will address traffic issues in this area. So I wanted to bring them tonight and make sure that everybody kind of knew if you come to UDOT with a traffic complaint, that's who it's going to get sent to. But yeah, questions?
Chris.
Yeah, the obvious question is, do you have any comment on the notion that this feels like the state is taking autonomy away from the city?
I am not going to comment on what the legislation has done. I am just doing what we've been asked through that legislation, and trying to make a situation that works for both UDOT and the city.
Kind of.
Anybody else?
We have a couple more. There's these three.
Okay, so are you guys in charge of what's happening on 7th East?
Oh, what's happening on 7th East right now? Is that the question?
Well, yeah, you guys are tearing the road down and putting a big island in the middle of it. Looks like you're going to take it from 3 lanes each way to 2. How is that going to impact everything when rush hour with 3 lanes you couldn't move on 7th East? How's it going to be with 2?
Thank you for that question. So we are putting the medians that were there previously back. We'd done enough overlays of the asphalt that they had become even with the surface. So we're reestablishing those raised medians. We are resurfacing the roadway, but we will be leaving it at 3 lanes. During construction, we've had to take it to 2 lanes just to have the space to do the construction. But when construction's complete, it will be back to 3 lanes with bike lanes where they were before. And so it's just pains during construction is what you're feeling right now, but we will be back to 3 lanes each direction. And we had one in the back.
Oh, gosh. There you go.
So this has to do with 300 North. I go on that road quite often, and I think it's absolute disaster what has been installed and a great safety hazard. The people on the south side of the street have to back over 2 bike lanes and a parking spot before they can even get into the lane of traffic. And then you have another bike lane on the backside. I'm not sure who instigated that implementation of 3 bike lanes versus 2 actual travel lanes, and then the parking strip that's along there. I see people making right-hand turns, and they're going right down the bike lanes because they think the median, because it's so far into the middle of the street, as the middle of the road. And I just think whoever designed that needs to be evaluated because it is a disaster. There's been so many mitigations that I just cringe because I see people near accidents all the time.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback. That's a project that we completed as a division a couple of years ago. Or maybe it's a year ago. I've lost track of the schedule of things. That was a project that was identified in the city's pedestrian and bicycle master plan. And so the planning for that goes back years. There was a lot of design that went into it. We have heard some concerns like yours. We've heard other people that are absolutely ecstatic with the project and love it. It's kind of a mixed bag. I'm really glad to hear this feedback tonight. I will take it back into consideration. Parking has been a challenge. I know we've made a few adjustments out there. We've added some additional paint, some additional markings to help make it more clear for people. We'll continue to monitor and continue to update as we can. Project's there, so it is what it is. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that feedback. The 300 North, so it's out in the Fair Park neighborhood. Starts at 400 or 500 West, and it goes over to 900 West on that neck of the woods. Okay.
Gentleman in blue here.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you guys, so Monday through Friday, the population of the city doubles. And so we got people coming in, banging up on our roads, but they don't pay taxes.
That's a complicated question.
It is,
Yeah.
it is, but
We actually receive funding for our roadways from a variety of sources. So they don't pay the city's property tax, right, which is important to know. But they do pay sales tax and they do pay gas tax. And we do receive money from those sources as well. And honestly, we're the capital city. I'm proud that we're here. I'm proud that we have all the opportunities we have to have a large portion of our state come to visit us every day to participate and be part of our economy. Is there an impact to our roadways? For sure there is. It's a good and bad. We live in an urban environment, and that's kind of the trade-offs that we have to deal with. That's the best answer I have. I don't know, Councilmember Young, do you have anything else to add on that? That's a financing. Awesome. Thank you. Any thoughts you had? Oh, okay.
Thanks. I don't know if this is your purview, but I love everything that's been done along 21st South. And at this point, I'm really kind of worried about all the new plantings. They're really struggling. As we all know, all our gardens are having a hard time. And I just hate to see them be lost. Is there any extra watering or anything going on?
Well, first I'll say thank you for your comment about 21st South. That was my design, and I'm proud of it. So thank you. Thank you. As far as watering the plants that have been installed on 2100 South, that is part of our urban services division that maintains that. So within the city, it's part of public services. There's a whole division of folks, and honestly, they are the unsung hero of the city. I think that they have the hardest job. Like, I think I have a pretty easy job compared to them. Urban services division, they deal with everything from cleaning up homeless encampments to dealing with parking enforcement to maintenance of our downtown and our Sugar House core area. It's a hard job that they have, and they are working relentlessly to make sure that those plants survive and to maintain what's out there. And so they need all the praise that we can throw their way because they have the hardest job in the city. I hope that answered your question. We are working hard to keep them alive, though. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm assuming when you're done, all this will be a publicly available map with all the assessment of the streets.
Yes. So for the tier map that was described, the state actually required us to adopt that as a part of our transportation master plan. So what that means is that we have to take it through a council adoption process. And at that point, it will go public for everyone to see. And so that's probably in the next couple of months. We're getting close. UDOT and all of our staff, we're pretty much on the same page. We just have to get through all of the process to get to where we can release it. And we're not quite there yet, but it's coming. And by the end of the year, you'll absolutely have access to that. And we'll make it as available as we possibly can.
Okay, okay. I just also want to compliment you on the improvements that have been made on 13th East, south of the freeway to not quite 33rd South, but the new median with the new trees, when those trees get bigger, that's just going to be beautiful. And the
Thank you.
resurfacing, it's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Really appreciate that. And a lot of praise goes to our partners here at UDOT, because that was a great example of the collaboration we have with UDOT. That project was federally funded. And whenever we have a federally funded project like that, we have to, we work with UDOT really closely. They have oversight of the federal money. They ran that project. And I think we got lucky. We got a great contractor. It went exactly to plan. I couldn't be happier of how a project would go than that did. And our friends at UDOT are large in part to thank for that. So, yeah.
I just dreamed of 5 years from now when those trees are big.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. That was a big win. And honestly, the trees were not in the original design. We came out to a bunch of meetings with you all and heard that trees were important on this corridor, and were able to find funding and add them to that design. So that was kind of I think it was around 70% design. We said, okay, let's get some trees in here. And we were able to pull it off. I think it'll make all the difference for that corridor.
We just
Thank
need
you.
to get people to not block the intersection and realize that more lanes go to the freeway
Yes.
than they think, because
Yes.
it backs up right there.
Yeah.
It's like, just go around.
Yeah, don't block the intersection, please. Yes.
So I've lived in near the Hutter Sugar House for like 30 years. So I'm on 2100 a lot. But I just want to point out, I didn't know you designed that, but I take that route a lot, and everyone I like it a lot.
Thank you.
It flows. People seem to be calmer. No one's stopping to take a left-hand turn, and then there's, a bunch of cars behind you. But I bike that area and I drive. But I just want to give you a heads up. For a resident that lives there for like 30 years, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Landon. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Good. All right. Thanks. Hey, thanks for coming. Thank you. Thanks. George. Where's George? Hey, Tina, did George leave? You want to talk about this? All right, deal. Hannah, you ready? We won't say any words since you'll be back next month.
Of course. Hi, everyone. Wow, I bet Lynn never thought he'd see the day where he would get not one, but 2 rounds of applause for 21st South. That was really exciting. He deserves it. Okay, hi, everyone. I'm Hannah from the mayor's office. Feels like it's been a really long time. I don't have that many updates today. First, UTA has their annual public comment period coming up starting on the 10th. It'll run until September 5th. And that's your chance to give them feedback on anything that you'd like to see. They're specifically looking for feedback on the S-Line extension, which is a little silly because it is actively happening. But they're also looking for feedback on allowing tap to pay, which would be amazing. 21st century, get on a bus, tap your phone, incredible. And then they're also looking at a fare rate change from $2.50 up to $3. So this QR code will take you, to their website where you can give feedback. They also have a virtual public meeting on the 26th in the evening. And this same QR code will take you to a spot where you can register to attend that meeting if you'd like. Next, there is a planning commission board opening for District 7. They're really pushing hard on recruitment right now. They're looking for a resident who maybe has experience in architecture or construction or housing, real estate, planning, anything like that. It's a decent commitment, I'm not going to lie, but it also is a really cool way to get involved with how our city is designed and planned. And so many of the projects that you hear about at this meeting, those decisions or a significant amount of the review and decision making goes to the planning commission first before it goes to city council. So if you're interested, please let you know. This QR code will take you to a spot to apply. But let me know. I'm happy to connect you with Aubrey in our planning division just to talk more about
what the responsibilities look like. And if you know, want to talk about what those qualifications are specifically that they're looking for. I also have some physical flyers over here on the wood shelf under the window if you want to grab a copy and take to any of your friends or neighbors. It's been a little tricky for them to find people who are qualified and willing to commit to it. So if anyone is coming to mind right now, keep them in mind and maybe grab them a flyer or send them my way. Next, this isn't new news, but just want to remind everyone to please water your trees. It's okay for your grass to go yellow right now. My lawn looks so bad, but I am hand watering my trees every 2 or 3 days just because it's so hot and they are so important to keeping my house cool and keeping our city cool. I do the old 5-gallon bucket because I have a really short hose, but they really need that deep watering. So yeah, just try and prioritize that. I have stickers and flyers about watering your trees. Maybe if you have a neighbor that needs a little reminder, you can stick a little flyer on their front porch because it's really important for our city. Next, these are some really cool events that our sustainability division is putting on. They have a Fix It clinic on Saturday, August 8th. If you have like a piece of tech that's broken and you want help getting it fixed, this is a really cool way to divert things out of our landfill or not have to like send it to the DI. Just fix something that you already have so you can keep using it, which is great. That includes bikes. If you have a bike repair that's you're kind of have been waiting on, now is your chance to get it done. They also have a couple other hard to recycle events coming up on August 22nd and then another one on September 19th. I know these aren't exactly in the Sugar House neighborhood, but I do feel like they're really got opportunities for all of us. And if you're anything like me, the trunk of your car can only hold so many things before you're like, okay, I have to figure out where I'm putting these things. So this is a cool opportunity to recycle some of those things, fix some of those things, etc. I see one more person using the QR code, so I'll keep this up for a minute. Okay, we're good. Oh, okay, that's all I have. I do have one more thing. I was informed about a closure on 21st South. Don't panic. Chipotle between 10th and McClelland is having some utility issues underground. So they have to have some work done starting the evening of August 11th at 9 p.m. Through the morning till 9 a.m. So it's going to be night work, but they will then have to do paving on August 12th to pave the spot that they had to tear up for the work to be done. So relatively short closure in the grand scheme of things. I'm really hoping it's just that August 11th, August 12th date. Avoid the area if you want, but hopefully it's pretty minor. So I know we hear 21st South closure and we start to panic, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Does anyone have any questions for me? Lots of questions. Yes. Sorry.
Hi, I was curious to know if Salt Lake City, the mayor's office, and possibly Sarah has had any communication with South Salt Lake City, because there was some serious heartburn on Parkway.
Yes, I'm very aware of that issue. We had
Did you try talking to them? Because apparently they
Absolutely.
wouldn't talk to the residents.
Yes. Yeah, we made a lot of effort to speak with them, and it sounds like Councilmember Young will talk about it more. But it's definitely an unfortunate situation. I grew up in that neighborhood and used to go to Easter egg hunts in that field, so I have connections to it. Kim had a question too, but I guess we'll go here next. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. If you go back to the trees, if you don't know about it and you own property in Salt Lake City and you don't have trees in your park strip, the city will install them for free. Recipient of 2 trees, they're great. All you gotta do is water them. You don't have to do anything else. Just scan a QR code or go online and they'll come out, they'll mark them, they'll plant them. You'll come home and you'll be like, oh, I have trees in my park strip. So highly recommend it.
That is true. Thank you. You're coming for my job. Okay, Kim, you had a question, right?
First UTA one.
Yes. Here we go.
That one.
Sorry about that.
Perfect. That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I will say very quickly that the cat is out of the bag. I'm getting a new job in the mayor's office. But that means I'm not going to be a liaison anymore, which is really sad. I don't exactly know when that's going to happen. Turns out it takes a lot longer for HR to process these things than I thought. So you can still email me and call me for now, and I'll be sure to let you know who the new liaison is for the area. But just want to thank you all for being so wonderful. You've been thanks. You guys have been such a great part of my job, and I love Sugar House so much. I will keep coming, and I only ever felt the love that I feel for Sugar House reflected back at me, even when we were working on hard things or talking about hard things. So thank you all so much. Really appreciate you. Yes. The new job is Constituent Experience Manager. I'm going to be working a lot on the back end of the app that you all hopefully use very frequently, to make sure that you have a consistent experience every time you use that app, and that you are communicated with and understand the timeline, and that you have expectations of what work is going to be done, in addition to a few other projects. But yeah, I won't be in the community as much, but of course we'll still see you all at Sugar House events and out at our favorite restaurants. So yeah.
So I just have to add on, you guys get the amazing opportunity to hear from Hannah every month. In addition to that, many of you have had the opportunity to work with Hannah, whether you had an issue in your neighborhood or you wanted to raise something for the city's consideration. And I just have to say that we have been so lucky to have you, and to have your professionalism and your kindness and your care for all of us. You really inspire me every single day in terms of the way that you look out for our community and for all of the individuals, no matter how they show up at your doorstep, angry, happy, concerned. You bring like just love and great energy. And so I have to say, we are lucky as a city that you are still with us. And this is what's great about working for Salt Lake, is that we see really amazing people like Hannah being promoted to better opportunities, so that we get to keep her expertise while still helping her grow her career. So Hannah, congratulations. Okay, all right, we got a lot to cover. I'm going to talk fast. First of all, we do have an applicant for planning that many of you know, Ben Raskin. So if you're familiar with Ben, he has submitted his information. Now you're in luck. We are never short of opportunities to be on different advisory boards and opportunities. And so if you are like, maybe me too, I'd like to throw my hat in for planning, I encourage you to do it. If you're like, I would never want to do that, we have other opportunities as well. So yes, so encouraging, folks to get involved in the city is always a great thing. But I did want to give a shout out to Ben, who has been a longstanding member of our community, who's willing to step in and be the voice for District 7. So thank you to Ben. All right, here we go. So it's been a summer, team. Let's talk about a couple of things that have been happening and that you may have seen or heard about. And if you haven't, it's good for you to know about in relationship to both advocacy as well as helping to inform your neighbors. So first and foremost, Sugar House Park Authority applied for ZAP funding related to some of the projects. Some of you may be familiar with Zoo Arts and Parks funding through the county. This is how we were able to upgrade one of the existing playgrounds for ADA compliance back in 2018 in Sugar House Park. Unfortunately, our friends at the county have noted that Sugar House Park is not considered a county property. Now, if you are like, thank you. Oh, Judy just channeled me right then and there. So anyway, just so you know, our Sugar House Park Authority leadership, led by Roxy Christensen, has been doing an incredible job partnering with Kim Shelley, who's our Salt Lake City public lands director, as well as working through every channel to be able to present documentation to help the county change that perspective, and welcome Sugar House Park back into the fold. So just so you know, like I said, we're working very closely with them. But if you have an opportunity to talk to any of your county representatives or the candidates who are running for the county, this should be a core issue for us here in Sugar House, is wanting to make sure that the partnership between the city and the county to keep that park amazing continues to be a priority for that entity. So that is update one. Update number two, Parkway. Ooh. So Parkway, if you're not familiar, there are 3 different Salt Lake City Tribune articles addressing what has happened to our neighbors on Parkway to the east of 13th East, leading up to 1700. So if I can capture it as quickly as possible in a nutshell, that land is owned by South Salt Lake and is where they keep some of their underground water tanks. That property has been in the ownership of that city. We did a land agreement with them in the 90s, and so it's been with them for a significant period of time. The neighbors have always reflected to South Salt Lake that they would appreciate a little more attention to the property related to maintenance of grass, also some issues they had with camping, and so that communication had been ongoing. That led to the South Salt Lake deciding that the best way to address that concern would be to reclaim that property and establish a fence around the property that would be able to, maybe make it more secure. As a part of that, that's really distressing, obviously, to the neighbors for a couple of reasons. One is that they've been caring for that property since the land transfer. And so this isn't like, it's like, way back out there. No, like our neighbors have been mowing that grass. They have been caring for it in terms of making sure that they're reducing fire mitigation. And we have some neighbors who have done some really amazing things in that space, including some gardening boxes, a gazebo, and some fruit trees that had actually been there for over 40 years, and they were using within the neighborhood. When South Salt Lake notified them in April that their plan was to reclaim this property, they quickly reached out to South Salt Lake and said, hey, we'd love to have a conversation with you. What does that plan look like? What is this infrastructure? And how can we maybe work together related to some of the existing needs and what your needs are related to security? Unfortunately, those conversations never took place. And so our residents went to South Salt Lake Public Comment and asked in public meetings for those conversations to be initiated. I can tell you they were very professional, they were very kind, and they really brought a spirit of we want to collaborate. That did not lead to opportunities for follow-up dialogue. I went with them to public comment and asked as our city council rep, hey, we'd love to have a conversation about this. How can we do this together? Those calls also went unheeded. We sent them formal letters from council, also to each of the city council members as well as the mayor, also unresponded to. So with that, we have had multiple city departments involved in this space, including planning related to the building permit that would be required for a fence to be established there. We have had Salt Lake City Fire come out related to fire mitigation and working with them to be able to try and address that. And then finally, we've also been working with the Salt Lake City Attorney's Office to understand the legal opportunities within this space. At this point, South Salt Lake has demolitioned their part of the land. So they removed the existing fruit trees and some of the other spaces. So if you see it, it's cleared at this point. And really in a very best case scenario, We just need for them to come to the table. And I know that tensions are high, and I know that there's a lot of emotions in that space, but we're gonna keep asking them to like have that dialogue with us so that we have the opportunity to be able to help explain what the neighbors are concerned about related to, especially the fire safety, as many of you can appreciate from the recent things happening in Tanner Park and elsewhere. But also, just to be able to have a more productive conversation because they are neighbors. And we're asking them to treat our residents like their neighbors. So we're going to continue to work on that. We don't have like a straight outcome at this point, but I did want to update you guys for those of you who may or may not have seen it in the news. Next up, we have the DABS liquor store on 2100 South. So this is another one where, and I know it came up earlier, I'm not sure who, related to like, doesn't that feel like a state overreach? This is another example of where when the state purchases a property, the local municipality, in this case Salt Lake City, does not have a right or an authority to be able to say you can't do that. So like within that particular like lens, as the city, we do not have that opportunity to say you can't build that there or you cannot purchase that land. What we are hoping to do is to be able to facilitate a conversation, which I know our wonderful friends at the Fellowship Hall already have planned with DABS and their leadership to be able to talk about what their plan is there and like what are the needs of the community and how can they consider those needs as they look to move forward. For any of our residents who are like, that's not okay, I'm not okay with this, and I want to be able to say that to someone who can do something about it, your best avenue of communication is going to be through the Utah Governor's Office. Because I will tell you that if you can certainly reach out to our wonderful representatives, both Senate as well as our House representatives. They are incredible. I guarantee you they will support us, but I'm telling you that they're the minority, and so their ability to be able to inform an administrative action is going to be somewhat limited. The Governor's Office at this point is going to be our best bet to potentially take action. So that's on the list. Business House district improvements. We did take a step forward as council with the Sugar House special assessment area. So that vote will be going out to the businesses. We are triaging with a couple of businesses who have had some concerns in that space. And just so you know, if you hear from others who are like, I want to know more, best people for them to chat with is our wonderful chamber leads, James Roberts and Scott with Tizante. So they're happy to chat with individuals. I am also happy to chat with folks who have maybe like a concern about the economic feasibility, and we can talk with them about what options exist at the city for them to be able to potentially pursue a solution specific to their business while still supporting the vision for the larger community. Transportation and infrastructure, we did adopt the city budget, which includes funding related to public safety, neighborhood infrastructure that you guys just heard about with some of the new speed bumps coming in, some of our parks and open space safety, and essential other city services. We are still discussing the capital improvement projects that have been submitted. We do have several projects that are proposed and pending for District 7. Kim Peterzo here has been a staunch advocate for being able to have more safe side streets, building off of the existing safe side streets, tongue twister, on Hollywood and bringing it over onto 10th East. And so just so you know, many of you here in Sugar House have voted to have the community council submit letters. Those letters help in terms of being able to sponsor projects and move them forward. We have a couple more public hearings and then we'll move forward on those. Additionally, we did vote to expand frequent service. So many of you who use the UTA bus route on 2100 South, we are maintaining that 15-minute interval. So that gets to stay, yay. In a tight budget time, it's important that we continue to incentivize with city dollars more opportunities for that transit so that it's more realistic reality for folks to use. So that's staying. We do have a truth in taxation hearing next Tuesday, informal council meeting. So you do still have an opportunity to come give feedback related to the tax rates. And that will be the key item in that meeting. As far as roads go, and the other piece about what are we doing kind of collectively. So the city is obviously trying to balance what can sometimes be opposing needs, right? We want our roads to be safe for people to be on, both as pedestrians, bicyclists, on your vehicles, but we also want people to be able to get where they're going. And so we're looking at trying to do that. And sometimes the pendulum may swing too far one direction. And that's why we have amazing people like Lynn who come to our meetings and take that feedback. I will let you know that the city will be considering in the future a future roads bond that is specific and complementary to the historical one that led to the improvements on 2100 South, 2700 South, and some of our other highly utilized streets. This one would be specific to addressing some of the much needed upgrades to neighborhood streets. And so that is in the future as part of the conversation moving forward. And yes, is it appropriate for the state of Utah to be involved in Salt Lake City streets? No, it is not. And we continue to advocate for that as a city, that your local municipality knows best, and that they need to lean into providing more resources, not more red tape. In addition to that, I'm going to try and jump through these real quick. So water conservation continues to be a topic at City Council for many reasons, not just in terms of the drought and pieces along those lines, but it does tend to be our largest lever to be thoughtful about what types of large-scale facilities could be built in the west side of the city. So you will continue to see the city council and, like I said, the mayor's office standing in solidarity when it comes to creating a welcoming community and using our levers to be able to keep our community a place of safety as a part of that conversation. So water conservation for all. As far as fireworks restrictions, you will note that Salt Lake City participated in both of the fireworks restriction opportunities. That is, again, intended to be able to be thoughtful about the needs of what's going on with the drought as well as the fire safety components. I will say that if you have a neighbor who, maybe their grass is getting a little dry and maybe those weeds are getting a little high, like I said, it's always trying to help each other out by saying like, hey, we're just trying to keep our streets safe. Can we help you? Because a lot of people want their yards to look nice too. But I have a neighbor who it's not physically possible for them. So we try and help them out. And it's a good way to be able to do a very small part to helping the larger system. As far as the camping ordinance goes, that is something that's under consideration with council. This is related to the RV restrictions. So the reality of the current ordinance is that if you have an RV that is parked on your street and you have safety concerns related to that RV, such as illegal dumping, potentially drug use, sex trafficking, anything along those lines, their only solution right now is the 48-hour parking rule to be able to engage with that particular individuals who might be within that vehicle. Council is considering an ordinance that would create a broader opportunity in the policy landscape to be able to have our Salt Lake City not just police officers, but our social workers and our health, our heart teams to be able to actually engage with those individuals and say, hello, like, can we help you? And we have resources in that space. Now, when it's been covered in the media, the main focus has been on this use case that all of the sudden Uber drivers who might be sleeping in their car waiting for an order are going to be like towed away and taken to jail because of this ordinance. I'm just here to clarify that that is not what is being considered within the ordinance space, but we are trying to find policy solutions to put tools in the toolbox for all of our residents who live near Fairmont Park. This is like their day-to-day life is corresponding with myself, with Hannah, with Julie, with the people who are in charge of parking enforcement, and along with Detective Swift to be able to find solutions. Many of these places are not just about a safety issue for the neighbors, but we have an RV that has been in our neighborhood for 3 months, and there are 2 small children who live in that RV. We want to help those neighbors. This is not about penalizing them or, again, towing them away, but we've got to have more tools in the toolbox, because right now, if they knock on their window to say, you've been here 48 hours, you need to move, they don't need to answer. And if they move, again, 1 block away, then the clock starts again. And it's usually about a week in between each of the potential engagements with the enforcement. So we're working on that. I know that there's some need for, clarification in the language so that we don't have ambiguity around Uber drivers. And we're working on that. As far as the watering of the trees, so yes, get a tree. I love that we had somebody who shouted that program out. I love our tree program. And I also want to say a really good way to keep your trees loved at this time is when you're cleaning out your ice bins in your freezers, don't dump it down the sink. Walk it out to your little tree and like dump the ice there. It's like a very small effort for conservation, but it does help keep your trees watered without necessarily having to run sprinklers across your whole yard. 2 more things, and then I promise I'm done. We did welcome a new council member. So we have Jennifer Napier-Pierce, who is now representing for District 4. And so she took the place of the previous council member and will be serving in that role until council elections, not this November, but next November. If many of you are familiar with her work, she actually started off as working for city council. That was her first job ever here in Salt Lake City. And she has held quite a few roles, including as editor of the Salt Lake Tribune. And she's also currently working for the Sorensen Impact Foundation as one of their leading voices. And so she presents a really great opportunity for us to be better connected with philanthropic opportunities as a city. And we're just excited to have her. So if you get a chance to see her and welcome her, I know she'll be excited. And then last but not least, so we have some homeless resource fairs that are happening across the city. And as a part of that, those services are not just for individuals who may be experiencing homelessness. They're also really valuable to individuals who maybe are like frugal and are looking for what can I do within the city, and receive some engagement services that might be helpful. We have individuals who can help you with like getting your ID. Let's say you lost it or you don't have some of your primary paperwork and you're like, man, I might need a birth certificate at some point, and I want to have access to that. These are a great opportunity there. We have folks who come related to Utah Legal Services, which are free legal services for individuals who may have a variety of needs. And then finally, we also have healthcare representatives there related to kind of navigating what's coming. There's going to be a lot of shakeup and need in the healthcare space. So I'm sharing with you, if you have a neighbor who you're concerned about, send them our way, and we're happy. They don't need to go to the homeless resource fair. We're happy to connect them to the appropriate community entities, especially when it comes to maintaining healthcare. Things are about to get really rocky here on September 1st. And so I just wanted to call out that even though that's a larger federal issue that's taking place, your city's here to help you connect to the resources. And so don't hesitate to reach out. I know that was so long. I'm so sorry. Okay, but thank you so much. And I'll stick around if there's questions, or I can answer Molly now. Why did the liquor store buy across the street and not stay in that ice cream place up front? So you would have to ask DABS, because that would have been a state decision that was made at that level. So as far as the watering goes, we try and promote conservation in a couple of different ways. One of the ways that's kind of our primary, mechanism for water conservation, besides education, which you saw Hannah do here tonight, but is that we actually use our rate system in public utilities to be able to encourage folks to save water by charging more the more water that you use. And so actually Salt Lake City has done such a great job at that conservation that we ended up not having enough money for our basic maintenance of public utilities, which was a problem, and we fixed. But it is one of those things where that rate tier system is actually really effective, and we've seen better conservation happening in our city than any of the municipalities surrounding.
Quickly, tomorrow at the Salt Lake City Airport, there's a free speech zone, and there will be you talked about facilities on the west side. There will be a action tomorrow to protest the ice flights out of Salt Lake City. But with regard to the liquor store purchase, is it possible maybe to establish a church nearby?
I will tell you, it's very creative, and I'm not opposed to being a part of those conversations. I think our biggest challenge right now is that in this space, when we know some of these decisions have been made, usually getting them to reverse that decision can be challenging. We also want to make sure that they are being thoughtful about connecting with the residents, building those communication tools, because I can just tell you right now, my frame of mind based on the summer we've spent with the Parkway residents, we don't want to get to a space where people can't sit down and talk to each other, because that is truly the worst case scenario, because they're not hearing the neighbors' concerns and the neighbors aren't able to get answers from that municipality. So we're really going to try and facilitate in that conversation space related to what types of things can they do from both a security, an entrance and exit, a fencing, to be able to, be thoughtful neighbors if this is their location. We will for sure ask, is there any possibility you would look at something else? I just don't want to say that to this room with a high degree of expectation where they would say yes, because I just don't believe that to be the case.
So this has to do with the Olympics coming up, and this is a conversation that has been on everybody's mind, is short-term rentals.
Oh, yeah.
Is Salt Lake City going to reevaluate that situation?
So we're currently in that conversation right now. So if you're familiar with the short-term rental conversation, there were some modifications to the ordinance that were passed as part of the budgetary processes that were truly meant to be more of cleanup in nature that have actually caused a lot of problems. And so as a part of that, the mayor's team actually brought to council, they were so this went too quickly. We would like the opportunity to bring this back and to have a more thoughtful conversation. And so those conversations are happening related to being able to hopefully modify. One of the key issues is that right now, if you live in a condo building, there's only a certain threshold of those condos that can apply for a short-term rental license. And there's not a lot of clarity around where that threshold number came from in terms of what is informing it, what is the research and the policy behind that space. And so we're working collectively with the mayor's office, as well as some of the local community organizations, conversations to be able to look at some of those decisions and see what types of modifications need to be in place related to that short-term rental piece.
Well, what was brought up is I read the conditional use permit for the property for Zion's Bank.
Correct.
And they specifically say short-term rental in their conditional use permit.
Yes. So I know that we've seen this. This won't be the first property I've seen it at. We have seen this coming forward more and more in potential development spaces for I think two reasons. So one is that when you look at some of these buildings that have already been built that have like rental apartments within them, there are at least 3 building examples in the downtown space where they rented out like that until they hit the threshold of not having additional parking spots to rent out to potential residents. And now they're at a ceiling. So the lesson learned for our friends who are building these buildings is that people still are looking for an opportunity to be able to park their vehicle and to not want to search it out on the streets in every single case. So as a part of that, because they're seeing where they've limited parking, some of those issues, some of the buildings that are now being proposed are saying we would like the opportunity to pivot potentially some of those units to a short-term rental solution to still allow us the opportunity to have rental and for those amenities to be utilized to bring in folks who are going to frequent the businesses and not necessarily increasing the amount of parking, related to like everybody being able to have as many parking spots as they want. So it kind of creates a buffer for them in terms of their model of being able to try and balance both of those needs. I'm not here to tell you that it's like the best solution ever. Obviously, when it comes to housing, we want to see more homes for purchase. That's a dedicated effort, more family-sized units. These are all the priorities of Salt Lake City Council and what we use to be able to award any of our available resources and funding to incentivize. But in terms of my understanding of why that's being included in that space, it's meant to be kind of a fail-safe. If for some reason the building isn't able to rent its units, it gives them another opportunity to be able to monetize those empty units.
That was long. Yeah, I think our community council would like to thank all 3 of these people in the front here, Hannah, Julie, and Councilman Young.
Okay, Landon said I have to be quick and I want to be thorough, so I'm just going to talk fast and not take questions. In 2001, playwright Ann Nelson was not a playwright. She was a talented former reporter who had settled into a life as a prosperous New York City housewife. Then 9/11 happened. And she wanted to do something. I wanted to do something. We all wanted to do something at that moment. But there was nothing for a writer to do. What was needed were military and construction workers and law enforcement firefighters. Then she heard from a friend of a friend about a fire captain who needed a writer, and she met this man and she helped him write 8 eulogies. Later, she wrote a play based on her experience. And the reason I'm telling you about this is because people who were born after 9/11 are adults now. They're out of college. They might be your doctor. It was 25 years ago. And to mark the 25th anniversary, Salt Lake Acting Company is doing a one-time staged reading of Ann Nelson's play, The Guys. It will be Monday, September 24th at 7 p.m. at Salt Lake Acting Company. Tickets are free. It's like one of their free play reading series bits. Tickets are not yet available on their website, and I was promised that I would be informed as soon as they get them up. Cynthia Fleming, the executive director, said, I want to have actors before I post the tickets up there. That's her deal. She gets to do that. We're going to use the community council communication system, so you'll be getting an email blast when tickets are available for that. There are a few flyers up here on the counter.
Still in this, George. Wait, you're done?
I'm done.
Okay. Hey, wait, if you guys have 2 minutes, Principal Chatterton here wants to show an aerial of Highland. And if anybody wants to complain about the dust, here's your guy.
Yay, the new high school. Yeah, I'm gonna help. All right. Construction's begun, as you've seen. We are getting them to water it down a little bit more frequently now, so hopefully there's not quite as much dust. But Hogan has been very responsive whenever we've taken them any concerns. If you do have concerns, please know you can reach out to me. I have direct contact with all the construction people on a daily basis and would be more than happy to help them out. Here is just a little snippet of somebody did some drone footage of what's happening in the high school right now. I don't know why I can't make that bigger, but that area you see right there is actually going to be the stage. That's the foundation for the stage for the new auditorium, and then the foundation's going in for the music rooms and some of the other areas. This is right on the east side of the school, so right along 1700 East right there. But yeah, construction is full go, and it's a busy time, obviously. And then obviously we have school starting next week, or a week from Tuesday. The 18th, kids will be back. So if you have any issues with anything, please let me know, especially construction related. If there's concerns that you have, we know parking is going to be an issue. We're working on it. We have expanded our south parking lot, but it is we can't force the kids to park there. So we're doing the best we can to incentivize them utilizing the spaces that we have. But we also know that a lot of students are just going to park along 1700 East and other areas as well. This is obviously, you've seen it move down into the park. I know there was some concern about trees coming out. It was part of the initial plan that had been put in place, taking over that land space. So it is happening, and actually our stadium and our field, we've lost half of our bleachers right now for this year as well. So it's a work in progress, and we're being flexible, and we're going to make it the best we can. So please be patient. But if you have anything questions that come up, any concerns, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to do everything I can to get you the answers you want, or at least the answers I can give you, but hopefully at least get you something. So thank you. Go Rams.
All right, thanks. Thank you. All right, guys. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. I am. I've been golf course.